Welcome in painting at school. Lesson 2. It's about the backgrounds and painting in kindergarten. The backgrounds. Why are we painting with children? Why do we spend so much time in art lessons with theater, eurythmy, form drawing, painting, modeling? Colors are very important in these lessons. Let's concentrate on colors. Life becomes visible in nature by colors. And it's a very interesting conversation between Voloshin, a Russian painter, and Rudolf Steiner. Voloshin asked about colors, and Steiner said, it's so important because if we don't develop the senses by the children, by the adults, they will not observe colors anymore. The world will become grey and bleak. And now I found a children's book about this theme. There's a little girl who lives in a town, and the town is bleak and grey. You just see it behind me. She lives in this house and she takes a walk through the gate to school. And during this walk she starts drawing. And you will see in the book what happens by painting in the town. Now you've seen the story of this girl and the policeman who said it is forbidden to paint in the town. So the last page was interesting, that in despite of the fact that it was forbidden, she just started coloring and drawing at her own home again. So the need for colors for children is very large. Let's pick up the question, why are we painting with children? What is the relationship between painting, modeling and form drawing? That's an important point. If you look at form drawing, we make movements and these movements start to be visible. They are frozen movements. We are in a one-dimensional world because we have a line just on paper. If we are modeling, we form something in our hands and you can look at it from different places. For instance, a cube. From all sides you can look at it. We are in the three-dimensional world. But by painting we are in the two-dimensional world. That means we have patches, for instance 2 or 3 violet ones, we take a golden yellow, and immediately you see some colors are coming to the front and some go behind. It is two-dimensional because we have color perspective. And later in the course by grade 4 and 5, if we paint landscape, is color perspective very important. By painting we develop a lot of skills. For instance, our eye-hand coordination by painting. But the most important two themes are in this course are the developing of the senses and be aware of the life forces. I will start by the senses. if we are on the way to incarnation, the child is coming down on earth with the eye and the astral body. From the other side, a physical body is prepared. It's full of life, the etheric body. And they two come together and the child is born. And in the child there's a soul. And the soul is not like this, not isolated, because we have to incarnate and we have to connect with the world around us. So if you look at a soul, there are 12 portals. And each portal has a certain aim, a goal. 12 from very elementary till more spiritual ones. From more physical, more soul, to spiritual, the last 4. We have the touch, all the material we take in our hands. We have the sense of life. How do you feel during a painting lesson? The movement. Even if you look at the painting and you move your eyes, it's a sense of moving, of movement. And of course you move with your brush. The balance is coming back in the composition. What are you painting? How does it look like? The smell. Yeah, sometimes the paint can smell. Or even maybe children taste the colors. Inside. The sight, very important of course, to look. And the temperature. You have warm and colder colors. Then the more spiritual ones is hearing. You hear, you listen to the teacher. The speech and thinking. You start understanding the exercise or where it's about, or the conversation. You can take part of the conversation. And the last one is the I. You have the authority of the teacher in front of you. And you are an I by yourself. Steiner says that the 12 senses are quite static. It means we have to stimulate it. We have to make the circumstances in the classes in that way that they really can develop all these senses, the portals to life, to the world around. So there will be a big movement in and outside. So that's one point. Now we will look at the life forces. In life we can distinguish 7 parts, or even 7 steps. Everybody is breathing. It is already the contact with the outer world. Breathing, the first step of life. The second is warming. Or if it is very warm outside, it is cooling down your body. Then we have, if it is inside, the start of the digestion. And the 4th step is very important. It's the separation. It means my body is choosing, I need this, I don't need that. So you separate your food, for instance. Then of course we want to maintain. We don't want to disappear. We don't want to be smaller. We want to be there, maintaining. And if you're young, you want to grow bigger, larger. And at the end, as adults, we can reproduce ourselves. We get children. And it starts all renew. On the signs you can see that this part, the first, is more going inside. Then we have this special part 4 about individualization. And then the movement is more, again, outside. You start reproducing things. These 7 steps we can use also in learning, in a very artistic development. Breathing is like observations. You look at something, you just watch. By watching, you start here warming, that means you connect. You start connecting with the subject. You're interested. And then you do your first exercises, like a kind of try out. You try just what you've seen, you feel connected, you're interested. And then you make choices. I like this one. I like that one not so much. So you make your choices. And then you go more and more in step 5 in the exercises. So on many ways you try out what you have went through in these first steps. And then if you know how to do it, you have the skill, you will increase your talent. More and more possibilities you conquer. And if you go through these steps, you make at last your own creation. The creation who wasn't there before. So by developing the senses to stimulate it, we have to give life and be aware of these processes in art lessons, also in painting lessons. So senses and life forces are the 2 basic things why we are painting with children, so the child can live in harmony with the world and make a good incarnation. Now we are in school again and look at the kindergarten, the youngest children, often in our schools. They're the toddlers. They're about 4 till 6 years old. How do we paint with these young children in the kindergarten? In the time of Rudolf Steiner, when he lived, there were no kindergartens. It was just grade 1 up till 7 and 8 in the first Waldorf schools, but there weren't any kindergartens. So we don't have directly advices from Steiner to this age. But he has given a lot of information about the first 7 years. When a child is born, the birth is of the physical body. And the physical body isn't ready yet. It takes many, many years before it is grown up. So the child, the young child especially, needs a lot of life forces. So all these life forces are needed to let the physical body grow in a healthy way. At the end of this period, when the child is about 7, 6 or even 8, a big part of the work at the body by the life forces is done. That means there is a lot of life forces who can be used for other activities, for learning. Though therefore in grade 1, if the children are 6 or 7 about, they start the curriculum in learning, in reading, mathematics, and also the curriculum in painting, modeling, form drawing. That means in the kindergarten there is no curriculum. They are playing, free playing. So the painting lesson is free playing with forms and colors. You can do it in different ways. Imagine in the morning the teacher is painting. Children come closer and they ask, "Teacher, we like to paint also." "Okay, take a brush, take paper, here's the paint." And by looking at the painter, the teacher in this case, they imitate the teacher and start free painting. There's not one subject. And they have the colors yellow, red and blue. Another possibility is, while the children are playing in the classroom, there's a small group with one of the teachers who starts painting. And maybe in this lesson there's a nice song about painting. And they learn their first skills. The third possibility is, once or twice in a week you paint with the whole group. And then you have the possibility to prepare everything on the table and everybody starts painting. And they look at each other's work. So there's not a certain subject. In the beginning you can choose to give the children 2 colors. For instance, as you see in these exercises. Here you see 2 colors. Children playing with 2 colors on paper. Very wet or more dry, very strong or weaker, or even with very nuance, like lemon yellow with a little bit golden or red in it, or a blue one with some yellow in it. And they also can start with blue, making points, making drawings, because drawing with the paint is useful, is used very much in kindergarten. So, because of the need of the etheric forces for the body, there's no curriculum yet. It is not an intellectual education yet. It is just free playing with colors. And I will show you more examples of paintings of these young children. So in lesson 3 we will concentrate on the first grade, painting in grade 1.